What's up, guys? It's your boys Awoki back out with another Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger video. And we're going into the dark stuff again because I don't know what it is that you guys enjoy, but looking into the possibility that NK did some weird witchy voodoo kind of stuff on Chris. I mean, she did a whole bunch of weird things with crystals, teas, sex therapy. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, apparently there's a possibility that she had a crystal skull, which those are no good. Necromancy, a Ayahuasca tea. We're going to get all of this even more right now. So we are on a YouTube channel that was shown to me, News Scroll Hole. I definitely want to watch this because it's definitely very interesting. But if you guys have not seen her channel, go over there, subscribe, comment, like, and share. You know the deal. Give the love where it is due for the person that made the video. And then don't forget to subscribe on my channel by hitting that white bar icon down at the bottom right. Hit that bell icon and next to it, so when I do post videos like this one, you guys will get that little ring notification that I've posted that video, and then you guys can watch, comment, like, and share. And again, I thank you guys so much for the love and support. And with that being said, let's get into the videos.
Hey YouTube, I fell down the scroll hole so far this time.
What a trip it was.
A lot of people left comments asking, or not asking, just saying in their opinion that Chris Watts.
Did Chris Watts' mistress Nikki use psychedelic, mind-altering substance while camping? If so, what kind? There's also apparently voodoo doll something, possibly, or hypnosis. Wow.
Was he given some kind of drink, some kind of yo I be tripping type of drink, like a hallucinogenic?
You drop your popcorn.
When they went camping, Chris Watts and his mistress.
I think that's where the turning point went, when it came to before Lust and Love, where it went dark, was at the sand dunes and the camping trip, because who else has been to that place? Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie. And yeah, I'm not going to go into that case, but for some reason, this area is like a hot spot for evil, haunted, demonic crap and skinwalking. And I mean, the list goes on and on with this sand dunes area in Colorado area. And with them camping there, who knows what was released or done. I'm not giving any excuse for Chris Watts. The man murdered his family. But something else had to have either helped or hindered NK being an accomplice rather than her victim act that she tried to portray.
Christopher Lee Watts and his mistress, Nikki Lee Watts. When they went camping, the pictures at the sand dune and that whole area is really called the Crestone
Or San de Cristo Range.
But it's all part.
What was that? Hold on, I want to learn this. What is the Crestone Mountain Ridge? The Crestones are a cluster of high summits in the Sangre de Cristo Range, comprising Crestone Peak, Crestone Needle, Kit Carson Peak, Challenger Point, and Humboldt Peak and Columbia Point. Okay.
But it's all part of Crestone, which is a spiritual retreat.
Oh, boy.
Hidden place that no one knows about. And then I got to thinking. I'm going to say it wrong because I don't have it in front of me. But it's either, I think it's ayahuasca. Yeah, well, they're promoting
Ayahuasca healing church services in America.
that now as like a way to like either sever soul ties. So if you're in like a bad relationship and you want to sever a soul tie.
Okay, so I looked up ayahuasca. Ayahuasca. It means vine of the soul. In the Quencha language spoke by indigenous, my goodness, people in the South America. Ayahuasca is made from a mixture of plants that are brewed into a tea. But what does the tea do? How? So in the United States, ayahuasca is illegal at the federal level because it contains DMT, a scheduled substance under federal law, while individual plants used to make, such as a blank, are not inherently prohibited. Any preparation containing a significant amount of DMT is considered illegal. But why? With federal prohibits ayahuasca, some states have taken steps to allow it to you. People react to ayahuasca differently. Some experience euphoria and a feeling of enlightenment. Others go through severe anxiety or panic. It is uncommon for those taking that ayahuasca tea. Interesting. Why is it banned, though? It is illegal to prepare plants that contain narcotic D-word. DMT is a Class A D-word and is therefore illegal to distribute or possess. As DMT contains plants, ayahuasca is therefore illegal in the UK and apparently the United States. Ayahuasca typically contains DMT, a substance making likewise, much of the marketing of ayahuasca retreats, including the notable number of all-male ones, list growth, purpose, brotherhood, and vulnerability as some of the results can gain from experience. Let's see, side effects. Side effects. Sorry if this is getting off topic, guys, but E X, if I can spell right. Oh boy, some sources across all the webs: dizziness, hallucination, trachycardia, anxiety, paranoia, diarrhea, mandriasis. What is this one? Heart rate that exceeds the normal. Madrisis. Dilation of the pupils, usually having a non-psychological cause. Fear, hypertension, seizures, euphoria. Is an experience of pleasure and excitement, intense. Oh, yeah, what they needed. Yeah, okay. Intense sensory experiences. Changes in the spiritual panic, psychosis, nausea, visual disturbance. Wow, this drug is just a peach.
They have 3-day retreats where you go.
So instead of going to an actual tent, they went to a cabin in the mountains.
And you take this tar-like tea. It's a tar-like tea.
Gross.
And I believe it's called ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca.
And it makes you trip.
Which this woman prepared Chris a tea and did not take said tea. So who knows?
Have different people that go to like Peru and train, and then they come back and they.
What happened with just drinking milk and having a Marlboro Light? I mean, I don't smoke, but what was the simplicity of back then? You know,
they're like the shaman that like you go on this retreat in the mountains at like a spiritual center, like a yoga center,
which
up
was
in the
up her
mountains
alley.
in the middle of nowhere, and it's very exclusive and reclusive and hidden away, tucked away. And they have mattresses, like yoga mattresses, like in this big open room with puke buckets next to the bed. And they do chanting and whatever, and it's for 3 days.
Oh, like the weird crap that they were doing in the basement that Chris said?
So I was reading up on this one guy.
Okay, so the CIA believes that there is a D word might be useful for mind control. If it is, I would like to have some so I can make my fiance let me play video games more often. So they tested it on people, some without their knowledge, in a program called MK Ultra. So kind of like a placebo effect to say, hey, we gave it to you, but we didn't really give it to you. And then the other one, they're like, oh, we gave it to you, but we didn't give it to you. But they got it. Ellis Blank was sold as a medication for research purposes under the trade name Dilcid in the 1950s and 1960s. It was listed as, I'm learning so much.
You know, we went up the first night and he picked the bed where he felt safe. It was near like a door in a bathroom. And he sat down, and then they ring a bell, and you come up, and
it's my turn to drink. The stuff is nasty, like a cup of motor oil diluted with a splash of water. I threw it back like a shot of cheap bourbon. We're instructed to sip it up and lean against the wall after the first cup. The tea takes about 30 minutes to work its way through.
What? And he said, you drink the first shot of this tar-like tea.
Gross.
And then the first night, he just saw like trippy colors and stuff. And then he was upset because he was going there with a question. So the second day, they go up, and it's a different mixture from a different area of like, I don't even know, Punka? I forget the name of it. They have those pyramids in South America that they found. I don't know if it's near that.
The
but anyway,
Incas? No, that's not it.
It's different mixtures of this ayahuasca, which is like an ancient, I think it goes back to ancient Babylonian times. And so the second night, he took it.
So was this picture fake and they never even slept in a tent? This was just a ruse to like tell the police officers, oh yeah, we went camping, but they actually went somewhere completely different. This cabin and drinking some weird tea called Ayahuasca.
And this is from memory recall. What happened? Oh, he started thinking about like how selfish he was. And then he started thinking about his wife and the first time they met and how so many times she would invite him to do things and then he would just blow her off. And he's like, felt her feelings. So he had to break through the second night. And then the third night, I forget what happened, but it was like super intense. And he was like crying and like puking. And like the girl next to him had snakes coming out of her mouth that came into his mouth. And it was like a whole hallucinogenic trip.
This man was tripping.
So then my question was, did Chris Watts take ayahuasca or what is it called? Something. I'm gonna get it all wrong. I'll put it in the video, guys. Syllabus.
Psilocybin is a natural occurring psychedelic pro D word compound produced by more than 200 species of fungus. Fungi. What the is she doing? The Dead Scroll letters and crystals and psychedelic stuff?
Listen or something. It's magic mushrooms or LSD that they used. They literally gave LSD to like neighborhoods of people and villages of people and like had them tripping, like children, grown-ups, old people, and did a mind control, MK Ultra mind control on a whole village. Put it in like the water or something. I'll put it up in the video. So yeah, I don't know.
That's weird.
Do you think Chris Watts drank some tar tea and it made him go tar nuts?
What in tar
Do you
nation?
think it another coincidence that ayahuasca is a tar-like tea as well as the fact that they went to the San de Cristo mountain range to sandboard and camp in the buff, in the nude camping.
Oh, that's right. They were
and the
nude.
definition of camp is above, as well as the concentration camps, right? Or mind control camps. Or do you
What
think
the
that's
hell?
far-fetched, even though it's written
I mean, that's grabbing at straws. I'm not gonna lie. That's a little far up there. But what do you guys think?
down in history, and stories were told about it, and people came out about it? Is it another coincidence that they went to this camp retreat that's a hidden place owned and funded by none other than United Nations and funded by the Rockefellers?
Zombie dust? What is zombie dust? It's a mixture of a halcyon and a sedative and blank, the C word, and was the name given to the mixture by Motley Crue, coined by Nikki Sixx. It is a mixture of ketamine and liquid It is called such because something or sometimes people take it and believe they are pixies. What the actual crap? Can't you guys just be the normal people and drink coffee and have some Tylenol with extra strength and have some ibuprofen? That works before school or before work. Not this weird stuff that makes you feel like you're tripping.
Oh, and also that woman, Crystal Ann Reisinger, went missing there and told her boyfriend prior to being abducted that they were trafficking people and drugs there in Crestone, the spiritual community, where there you need access to get in there. It's a hidden place that the general public does not have access to. Federally funded and ran, and again, that was most likely the hidden getaway in Colorado that Chris Watts was Googling. This all went down right before the North Carolina trip, to whom, in my opinion, looks like Nicole Kessinger accompanied Chris Watts.
We already know that this woman right here is not Nicole Kessinger. It looks familiar, but it is not. And the girl that's on the beach is not her either. She was in Colorado when Chris was gone. One reason why, the phone pings. We see her phone ping in Colorado. She was not in North Carolina. But they didn't look at the normal ping that they probably should have looked at.
Just another quinky dink. Anyway, guys, today we're getting into the Masonic Order. Crystal and their meaning behind it. And how it conflates to the Watts case, to whether or not this is a secret society, whether or not this is a...
Oh, by the way, Dwayne Kessinger changed his background to this Watts image the day the murders happened.
Huge psyop. So let's break it down. Get your drink, get some popcorn, put your headphones in, and let's break it down.
I'm ready.
We're living in a time of great social engineering, okay?
Waging a path towards an ancient Mayan city.
Oh, don't even get me started with crystal skulls. I went on a whole high school project on the crystal skulls and how they can lead to weird powers and the end of the world. It gets weird. I'm telling you.
In what is now modern day Belize. The skull seems so out of place, so advanced in its craftsmanship, juxtaposed against the Mayan.
When the 13 skull quartz or quartz skulls are put together, a portal to all human consciousness is collected into them.
Ruins of ancient stone and earth, fashioned out of a single solid piece of clear quartz. The adventurer and his daughter immediately realized they had stumbled upon one of the most mysterious objects in the history of archaeology.
Now, if y'all don't know what social engineering is, Go look it up.
We're going to get into Max Spears again and hear what he has to say and transliterate it to what they've been saying since the early 80s to the 90s. But we thought everyone that talked about this stuff at this time was crazy until it came to pass.
Like, there's people out there that know how to scientifically make society do what they want it to do, how they want it to be done. They're engineering how society should be. That's social engineering.
We're going to get into crystal skulls, area 51.
This is one of the ones that's scary.
And how it pertains to Nicole Kessinger.
I'm ready to listen.
And Chris Watts, who killed his pregnant wife, Shanann, and his 2 young daughters, Bella and Celeste.
And
what I found.
Son.
You need a lot of background in the evolution of the science that makes those things possible to be able to accept that the U.S. has dozens, if not hundreds, of vehicles that are more than capable of space flight and make it so...
Yet you guys can't figure out how to get my phone reception from dropping all the time. And yet we have ships.
We would have a fleet of vehicles that would be seemingly extraterrestrial. And the reason that that has to be kept that way is because if you know that those vehicles exist, you start to question the technology that they're based on. And when you start to do that, then you start to question why we're still using petroleum products. And solid rocket boosters and everything else, and things get quickly out of hand after that. So to keep those vehicles a secret is to keep everything else a secret.
Illuminati came to the United States through a fraternity, a Faustian financial fraternity, in 1832. And if we take a look at this Faustian financial fraternity, we will see that we have the skull and bones.
There's only one road.
This is almost like the thing in Captain America, the Hydra, where they do the Hail Hydra. And when cut off one head, 2 more shall take its place. Like, that's what I feel I'm watching.
In and out of Crestone, Colorado. The pavement stops on mountain slopes at 8,000 feet, with Himalayan-like 14ers looming above the town's 7 square blocks. In the other direction, the road unfurls into the high desert of the San Luis Valley, an 8,000 square mile break between the Sangre de Cristo and San Juan Mountain.
The same place that Nicole took Chris Watts.
Ranges, the largest alpine valley on Earth. It can seem like a strange geologic void, like a vortex. Many claim it is. Crestone and the greater San Luis Valley has been viewed as sacred for thousands of years. Today, it's the New Age religious capital of the world. These are the Crestone mountain range, where there's also portals. You have the Yeti Ranch, as well as multiple missing persons. Many UFO sightings, as well as interdimensional beings sighted in this area. The San Luis Valley sits on a bed of crystal. The whole thing is on crystal, so it's magnetic. It's a portal.
George Bundy, I addressed this to George Bundy. He just came completely discombobulated on the stage. I wish I had a picture of that. I asked Bill Buckley about his membership in the Skull and Bones in New Orleans. He got up and almost went running out of the room.
He refused to even comment.
Yeah.
George Bush was asked one time and he changed the subject.
Of course. So that's what it's all about.
People are talking about...
I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. You have a reptilian unity to create a new bloodline where you have the swastika marrying in with the Star of David. That the alien movement is talking about that.
Right, the Raelian.
Max Spears just mentioned realism. which is an interesting religion. It's a UFO-based religion. They believe like the ancient alien theory. And then their emblem is a swastika inside of a Star of David. It's like they married it together. The female leader of realism, which sounds like Israelism, is also the leader in the world in human cloning. There was a few rappers that were saying that they're Gen C clones. So there's clones walking among us.
Oh, I don't doubt that for a second.
The magicians always have their magic wand.
If we're able to clone animals, you can dang well sure. I don't think they successfully like walking and talking, but who knows what people have done in labs.
Magic wands were always made out of holly wood. And holly wood has been used for many years to manipulate your thinking, to explain mystical subjects to you, and to prepare you to accept certain mystical premises. A classic example, and I'm not in any way belittling the work, but it's very important to understand Steven Spielberg and George Lucas's work with the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, because you can't understand the Last Crusade if you don't understand the First Crusade.
Or the Crystal Skull.
And if you understand that the Raiders of the Lost Ark, who was the Raiders of the Lost Ark fighting against? It was the Nazis.
The information can be downloaded into crystals too. I think the crystal skulls, and going off track again, but the crystal skulls carry massive amounts of God mind information. If you can,
What's God mind?
I think so I'm thinking that might be the collective oversoul of this area of the universe. So if you could put all the information for all the technology that's necessary, all the information of the true galactic history, all the information of really what's gone on in the inner wars that's gone on, because this is just a massive, it's a prison planet, but it's an inner war constantly.
Okay. Madame Helena Petrovna Blavatsky wrote a magazine. I've had the bound works of that magazine entitled Lucifer Magazine. She had a lot of followers. Adolf Hitler was one. He certainly incorporated a lot of the occult symbology into...
Let me comment on that real quickly.
Cleared right.
The term swastika, that is not a German term. The very name, swastika, is a Hindu word. And it's a symbol. Now, most people in the audience have probably never heard of this, but in occultism, it deals a lot with energies, with powers and forces, and these powers and forces come through something that are called chakras. And the word chakra is a Hindu word which means spinning vortex.
Vortexes in Colorado, Chimney Rock, Crestone, Garden of the Gods, and then the rest of them. Check out our last video that we posted. We go into more depth on Crestone and the vortex.
Now, the swastika is a symbol of the chakras that are energized and working in unison. So the word swastika is a Hindu word, not a German word. And the word Aryan is a Hindu word. The Aryans were the Brahman caste of Hinduism. So much of the terminology and concepts that Hitler used were from esoteric Hinduism.
Why Hitler related to the Brahman caste system was because it was a class system. It was classism, where they had a rich upper level high caste and then a low peasant nothing caste. So I disagree with the man that says that the swastika has nothing to do with the ancient Germanic people. How does he know that? And also, it's a social order of an elitist mentality, which that was Hitler's mentality. And the crystal skulls are literally like a supercomputer.
And yet they lost.
Of human thought. It collects human thinking, our thought.
Interesting, too, in the Star Wars, according to the Masonic reference works that you can get in any library, the Freemasonic Orders of Europe said that there was a little ideologue, a little spiritual entity that gave the knowledge to what the Masons call our hidden masters.
The Jedi.
That's what Freemasonry refers to those who lead world Freemasonry. They don't know who they are. No Freemason knows who the actual leaders of the world organization are. They call them our hidden masters.
Experience at Area 51 and Psy-Training, and what I learned there, and the abilities that evolved from that training session that we all seem to pick up on rather easily, and the abilities that evolved from that training session that we all seem to pick up on rather easily were most easily described to the layman as Jedi skills.
These are not...
It's very easy, if you know what I know, to see the correlation between what happens in the movie and the...
You must subscribe to Zawoki right now. Subscribe. Is it working? Probably not. Okay.
The Jedi training and what happens in Area 51 and Psy-Training.
Hello there.
We in the Nines all possessed a certain level of intuition and ability that would seem...
Probably just gas.
...advanced to anyone who watched us use it.
Y'all out there, George Soros is a fucking multi-billionaire down with, you know, some of the 12 richest people in the fucking
He raised
world.
$100 million.
Excuse the French.
For Black Lives Matter Coalition.
What billionaire would have done that for the Black Panther Party?
33 million. 33 million. 33 million.
Well, according to the reference works, there is a little spiritual entity that guides the world Freemasonry, and they call him...
Are we talking about Yoda?
Yoda. And in the reference works, you'll see this little creature with the pointed ears, and he's called Yoda. Yoda goes back to Judah, or Judah, which goes back into British Israel World Freemasonry, going back to the time of the founding of England, and that's why they're today called British. The British, it's a very big difference between being English and British. Brit is Hebrew for contract or a covenant, and ish means man in Hebrew. Therefore, British is the covenant man, the man of the new covenant.
So we're talking about Star Wars.
So we're talking about Star Wars, we're talking about
the evil empire,
and Empire
Yoda,
Strikes Back. Take over the world. So what we're saying here is that there is a war going on between gangs to see who's going to ultimately be on the top of the pyramid.
These found footage clips are from the late 80s, early 90s, which is pretty crazy when you think about it in terms of what's going on today and how this conflates to the Chris Watts case, how he worked at Anadarko Petroleum for a long time and met his mistress, Nicole Kessinger, there, allegedly. We find out that Anadarko's involved in Event Horizon oil spill, the biggest oil spill in the world. And Chris hid the little girl, adorable baby girl's bodies in the tiny, tiny hatch. It's like this little hole in the oil batteries. He dumped them in and it's thick. It's not like oil, it's like tar. This is the Anadarko oil spill, and to me it looked like a face was manifesting in the fire.
5 points off of a 5-pointed star or a pentagram, you have left in the middle a pentagon. That's why the United States has a pentagon. The pentagon is directed toward the North Star because according to the ancient Babylonians, that's where you gathered power from the gods of the North in war. Impress and frighten the world of humanity into accepting a new order that will finally put down all the disorder in the world, and it is the oldest trick in the book.
Oldest trick in the book. Old world order.
Our greatest enemy is not in a crack house, it's in the White House. It's not in a bar room, it's in the boardrooms. And so the point I'm making is that we are being manipulated from the very top, and we need to wake up.
We've got to wake up. We've got to wake up. Never in the...
Is anybody else scared? Not really, but I just... Holy crap.
annals of human history, has so few done so much so often, to rob and ravish so many, as the warlords and the warlocks of Wall Street and Washington. We've got to wake up.
The beast rose out of the sea. Out of his mouth go burning torches. Sparks of fire leap forth. Out of his nostrils smoke goes forth.
Okay. I'm not saying this is not drawing at straws. This is going far, but it's super creepy far. Just when I think I'm down in that hole, the rabbit hole of the Watts Island, it gets deeper. And it gets deeper. I would love to know your thoughts on this. I am very puzzled. I am very scratching my head. I want to learn a little bit more. And I'm definitely going to see if she's got more content as well to look into. But again, don't forget to comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share on both channels. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Please take care, be safe, and as always, keep nerding on. And we'll see you guys in the next video.